for vacation on Sunday. Like I told you this in the first part of the interview.
Yeah, and then you come back.
Yeah, on the 10th, and then I leave 4 days later. So I like want to do this job, but I would like to start in the summer. I know that's not. I know like you're training, and then like you want us to do for the month of January. And stuff.
Well, why are you making that decision? It sounds like you're making that decision because you're worried about the work you're going to put in is not going to show up as like.
No, that's not it. I just don't think I'm gonna be I'm going to Colorado to see my family, and I would rather not do work while I'm there.
Well, but then so that's based on what assumption then?
What do you mean?
What you just stated
Yes.
is based on assumption
Because
or a decision you made. So you're assuming that you have to sell when you're in Colorado.
Yeah, that's what I wasn't sure.
So that's an assumption.
Okay.
So instead of deciding and making the request to do it in the summer, go on a fact-finding mission. This is just the coaching I'm giving you. People pay me to coach them. Yeah, because it's usually we make a series of these decisions, but we're just making them up versus seeking information first. You know what I mean? So ultimately what tends to happen is somebody thinks that there's an expectation that I have, and they get worried like, oh, well, what if I don't live up to the expectation? I'm not saying this definitely applies to you, but it could. All right, a little bit. So it's like if Joe expects this, and I'm able to do that.
I inferred that you do training so that we can start.
Well, you could start demos Saturday night. Yeah. I did 5 my first evening. I mean, if you're doing 5, at least you can get kick-started, even if it's like, listen, ultimately, whenever I have a conversation with this, I'll tell you, you could start this summer. Let me get that out of the way so that we can then really put that aside and we can really take a look at the opportunity and in an unbiased fashion, take a look at what makes sense. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, whenever you make a decision in life, take a look at what can add value now versus later.
Yes. And
know that usually when we think that things have to look a certain way, like there's rules, they're really not. We just manufacture them, right? We make them up. You know what I mean? So ultimately, what I say to anybody, I go, listen, if you're going to get started with a particular campaign, even if you can do training and go out and do like 2 or 3 appointments, in that moment, you now have, it's like you got it. It's like learning balance on a bike. Even if you then stop riding the bike for a while, at least you now know you always have balance on a bicycle.
Yeah.
So it would be one thing if you were like leaving tomorrow night, or you were leaving Saturday like 4:31 p.m. or 5:01 when, you know. But if you have the ability, and you have to be mature enough to get your packing done ahead of time, right, and get all things organized, I'm giving you an option, like kind of painting a picture of how it could go. All right, and I prefaced it a bit by saying I really don't have any set expectations. So it's not like you have to live up to a certain standard or whatever, and I'm not gonna like frown upon it or whatever. You know what I mean? So if you leave like Saturday and then you do demo Saturday night, even if it's like 3, right, and then you go away on vacation, at least that gives you initial experience to work off of, right? You know what I mean? Now, granted, you wouldn't want to draw conclusions after those first 3, because who knows?
Yeah,
you could either light the world on fire and go 3 for 3 with whatever, or you can go 1 for 3, or you can go 2 for 3. The point is experience is experience. It's not good, bad, ugly, pretty. It's
definitely in more for the experience than the money.
Yeah. But we still want you producing results and being effective.
Of course.
But when I say experience, I don't mean the textbook experience like on a resume.
I really enjoyed today, and I'm really excited to do this. I just don't think I have the time. Like I'm gonna try it out. Like I can try it out Saturday night if you want me to.
Well, you're making a decision around the time, but you haven't even put pen to paper as far. Do you see how I said that earlier today?
Yes.
Remember that pitfall? Students say, I don't have time, and I go, okay, well then how much time? Like, I don't know, I haven't planned it out yet. Then how can we conclude? It's like concluding I don't have enough money, but I don't know how much money I need. That's the whole point. So if you have a list of packing that you have to do, and that gets done, and you have the ability to be here the next 2 days, so everything gets taken care of, and you just predict ahead of time. It's not like it's uncertain, you know, and all you're dealing with is a window that's like 3 days long.
Well, then my opinion is that I would like not to work the rest of my vacation because I want to spend time with my family and my friends. And I'd rather like to start in the summer because I could technically do work, but I would rather not.
Yeah, and I totally get that. So now you're being honest, which is good, versus having it be like a time constraint thing.
Yeah,
that's positive.
I definitely have time to do it. I don't see my friends and my family that much, and I live in Rochester, and my break is shorter than it's not until the end of the month, and I go back on the 14th. So that's all.
I get it, and now you're being honest about it, which is fine. Okay. I still would say, what can you do? Personally, that's not the decision I would make. Because if you put off something to the future, you're not getting present day value added.
Look, I'm willing to do, a couple, or whatever you said, so I don't leave till Sunday morning, so I could try Saturday night. I'm willing to do that, but I really would not like I barely see my family in Colorado.
I haven't even said you have to work Colorado.
No, I know.
You're supposed to be.
I know. I'm taking what you're saying into my own opinion.
Yeah.
And saying what I don't know.
Yeah, no, I haven't, first of all, we're just talking about Saturday night right now.
Yes.
The whole Colorado thing, we haven't even, that's, you're just assuming.
Okay, I'm sorry. I am assuming things.
Yeah, so just don't. I mean,
Okay.
so there's Colorado, fair enough, whatever. You know what I mean? Even then, ultimately, I'm not even in this equation. I'm just coaching somebody the way I would coach anybody, which is to really find out what can that person do to add value to their life.
Yes.
Sometimes they have like insecure views or whatever that gets in the way of them adding value. But I say, hey, be open-minded, take a look at it. So you've already made up your mind that, okay, doing demos, it's either time with family or demos. And a lot of times we do that in life as humans. We set it up in our mind, it's like one or the other versus how do we just do both? Or like when I sat down with a customer to show them Cutco, I was hanging out with my hands. So it wasn't like, it wasn't like I was working at like a Starbucks and I wasn't able to, don't forget, there's somebody on the other end of the table and we're sitting with them. So everything I'm saying, by the way, doesn't have to be this way. I'm just giving you a different way.
Thank you for your, I know.
Give you a different way of thinking about it, okay? So when I did demos for like my Uncle Bob and Aunt Teresa, I was just hanging with my Uncle Bob and Aunt Teresa. We happened to be talking about knives, but it wasn't like, so that was actually quality time, killing two birds with one stone.
I was thinking about if I could do it in Colorado, but on the sample kit thing, I don't think it would be able to fit in my, like...
Is anybody checking luggage?
I am checking luggage. Are you allowed to bring knives when you check luggage?
Yeah, because you don't have access to it.
Because one time my brother did, like, accidentally check a knife in his luggage, and they, like, hauled him out for it or whatever.
No, you're fine. If
Okay.
you're checked, well, that's the whole point of...
Yes.
If you can't have access to it during the flight...
Okay.
Yeah, no, I've transported.
Okay, I mean, obviously, I'm the amateur and you're the advisor, so you know a lot more
yeah.
than I know. But I do want to do this, and like, more about the brain or psychology than I do. So you tell me what you think I should do.
I'll give you my advice, but
Yes.
ultimately you have to decide.
I want to hear your advice.
My personal advice, I'd step back and be okay, let me look at what's so, and let me look at what my schedule, let me look at what I want, not afraid of what I'm missing. So instead of it being like avoiding or worrying about missing out on family time, I'd be like, well, what can I create? How do I have it all, do it all, be it all? You know what I mean? That's ultimately what it is. If it were personally with me, I would finish the training, I would have a plan already about packing, making sure that's all taken care of. I would check the knives in the plane, but even then I wouldn't decide for sure necessarily how many exactly I would do when I'm away. But even if I did like 2 appointments when I was away, like 3 before I leave, 2 more while away, that's like 5.
Okay.
All right, and then when I get back, obviously I'll recheck the knives, and then I come back, and then I would then have another. So you'd have like a series of kind of timeline, business plans, which are really the activity schedule, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you'd have one for now till when you leave with the list of to-dos and knowing when you're going to do them. Because that way you don't have to. There's never this. Oh, I think I'm running out of time, or I think it's black and white once you put it on paper. It's like. Because you can't be 2 places at one time. So you have from now till when you fly, and it's all stuff you can then predetermine what you're doing, right? And then when you get back, you said it was like 4 days or something like that?
Yeah, 4 days.
Yeah, so even then it's like, I don't know, even if you did like 4 more demos or 5, I mean, that at least produces something, but then you make a list of what else do you want? Well, you said you want family time. Well, what does that look like? Too often that's vague. It's like, well, what is that like? If I was personally coaching you, I'd ask you, well, what does that mean? Because too often it's like, well, I want to make sure I have time with family. I go, I get that, but what does that mean?
Okay.
Because otherwise you may be left with this feeling of it's not enough. Unless something's measurable, we usually are left with it's not enough or something's missing. So...
Do you mind, can I sit down for a couple minutes?
Yeah, I'm down with whatever.
Try something?
What's up?
I just want to try to do a schedule thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, it's built for the train tomorrow, but you can do it now.
Yeah, but I mean, everyone's left already, it's just easier.
Yeah, well, you want to use our activity schedule,
Okay.
so let me I'll bring it to you. Hang out. Hey, Sarah, you still here?
Yeah.
Can you get everything set up for the interview and ready to rock and just at least those 2 rooms? And then if you close that door, I'm going to be talking in here about scheduling. And then...
Can I meet Sarah? I've talked to her twice on the phone, but I'm...
Oh yeah, Sarah's right here.
I'm Allie.
Hey.
I've talked to you twice on the phone. It's nice to meet you.
Oh, yeah. You too.
Alright, so, and then Sarah, we're going to use this for the interview, this room, so I guess, well, it shouldn't be too hard to get this cleaned up in a bit, but...
Okay.
Just make sure we're ready to rock, Sarah.
It's still 3, so.
Alright. This is a weekly activity schedule, alright? So it's neat, too often we have an opinion about how doable a plan is, but we don't even have the plan yet. So it's funny how in our mind we decide whether something's doable, but yet we don't even know what that looks like. Alright, so today is what day of the week?
Thursday.
Okay,
Sorry.
got it. So usually what we do is like darken in here. That way you get the most out of the rest of the next 7 days. So today is the 3rd.
Yes.
January 3rd, January 4th, January 5th, January 6th, January 7th, January 8th, January 9th. Okay? Now granted, this, if you were really going to pre-plan everything, this would actually have 24 hours, but the assumption is that a lot of this is like sleep time or
Yes.
late night, you're maybe hanging out with friends, blah, blah,
Okay.
blah. But, so it goes from 7 a.m. till about 10:30, and then the idea would be to say, okay, this time doesn't change, it's 24 hours, you're now pre-planning things. Now sometimes we have like projects in our mind, or let me call them activities, but they're not broken into action steps. So on the back, what I used to do as a college student, like packing, right? Packing is an activity. That's not an actual game plan. In order for something to be a game plan, you would have to break it down into its action steps, like this. So like, imagine I just wrote down build desk, then I didn't have any of the additional.
Right.
Okay. So packing, and then you bullet point the action steps that would take. Alright, so maybe it's do you do your own laundry or somebody else?
Yeah.
Okay, so laundry, wash, whatever. But then, now, after you list them, you then want to estimate the length of time. And each of these ends up becoming a mini event. And then the idea was to list the events. Now, to me, what makes something an event, it has a start time and a end time, okay? So like, for example, we have training tomorrow, which is day, or we had today, so it was 10 to 3 today? So 10, so it's an event, start time, 3 p.m. end time, and this was day 1 of training. Friday, we go from 10 to, I think we have it 6, right? So 10 to 6, we label that day 2. Sometimes I'd even write down 10-6. And obviously you match up the times here, start time, end time, each of these events. Saturday, we have from 10 to 5, right? 4:30, is that what you're, yeah, 4:30 is fine. Bigger groups usually go later, but we'll keep it at 4:30, it's fine. So day 3, 10-4:30. So each of these are Cutco events. When do your flight leave? When do
My
you
flight
take off?
leaves Sunday morning at 8.
8 a.m. So flight, do you know how long?
4.5.
4 hours, so 8 till about, let's say, 1 p.m.
Well, the thing is,
1:30?
the time is 2 hour difference, so it's really 11.
Yeah, no, I know, but once you're there, then you convert. You keep this on East Coast time, and then just know when you're there, it's a -3.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, if it was Google Calendar, it would automatically update it when you
Yeah.
cross time zone, but
Okay.
obviously because it's paper,
Yeah.
But you still want to have the visual be
Right.
like the real length.
So, by the time I get baggage claim, it'll be around 1.
Okay. Well, you can put 1:30, whatever. I mean, if you're gonna be anal about it, you'd put like, which is good. You do want to be as specific as possible, which is a positive thing. So this is flight, right? To where?
To Denver.
Okay, got it. And then you come back when?
On the 10th. I don't know what time it's going to.
Okay, fair enough. Now, if you're gonna do this into the future, you then could darken in this again here, and then this would be mapped out for your next 2 weeks. So this is good from now till the 9th, and then this would be the 10th. This would be the 11th, this would be the 12th, then when do you get back to school?
I leave on the 14th.
Okay, good. So do you see how, like, before you make any choice about stuff, just get a visual, like, what does it even look like? And what time of day are you leaving?
I have no idea. Probably during the afternoon.
So let's predict, let's go. And you could, who's driving you? Are you driving yourself, you're flying? Where are you going?
Fine. So it's an hour and a half flight.
Okay, so probably around what time?
I probably get back around 5.
Okay, about up at school, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, so the flight, let's do like a 1 to 5 interval or
Yeah.
something, and just say travel, air travel to school, which obviously you have to put in when you do know the commute time to the airport. I mean, that's like the type of detail you wanna learn and develop the skill. Now, it's not just for like travel and Cutco, you'd also put chillin', fun. Now, you can put an event, like a window of time, just put family time, and then you may or may not wanna choose to get specific with it. I used to use this for everything, it's not just for Cutco. So if you do, and it doesn't mean you can't just put chill with family during 3 hours, but if you also have to go to, you wanna go to a movie, or you wanna go to a play, you wanna go skiing, then you would start to plug those events in as well.
Do you still
to
use
get
this
to-
today?
Oh, I do Google Calendar.
Oh.
So electronics, and it's synced with my phone. Yeah, all business owners pre-plan stuff, that way there's just not guessing or mystery or whatever, and you get a visual of all these different
It's a
things.
good tactic.
Yeah, well, this is what I did through college, which allowed me to get great grades and not bug out about stuff. So air travel, flight, you're not sure obviously on the 10th when you get back, but it'll be somewhere. Alright, so whatever that is, you wanna find out when that is, you fly back. but really this is the window we're looking at here. Okay, and then this will obviously, you'll be in Denver, but you want to use this for your life, so I don't know, when you're getting, maybe there's some family dinner that's gonna happen, whatever, you wanna find that out ahead of time, okay? Ideally, don't get me wrong, if it's vacay, you could just put down vacay too and not have an agenda, but at least that's still an event, right? 'Cause it's kinda like start time, end time, vacation, so you get as specific as you like, it's your choice, okay? So, what do you have to do before you go? So packing's laundry and then actually put in bag. Okay, what else goes into that? You have to buy anything, shopping?
No, I don't have to, just pack it.
So get your electronics ready to go?
Mhm.
So electronics, what else?
I'm only made for 5 days, so I don't really have to pack that much.
Okay, got it. Now you wanna estimate how long will it take you to do laundry?
Probably 2 hours.
Okay, got it. Now, and how long will it take you to take the stuff and stick it in the bag?
Put it in the bag, it takes like a minute.
Okay, got it. Well, I guess you can incorporate the two, but maybe we'll put down,
But to unfold it and to like fold it would probably take like
so let's say 30 minutes, okay? Because this is putting it in.
Yeah.
Okay, and then obviously when you get there, you do whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, electronics, getting your electronics handy, great. So you need to then take these things, and now that you know that this is like 2 hours and 40 minutes, you would then decide now, and granted it could be, I don't know what time you normally go to sleep, I'm not sure, but you can either do it late night or you can do it, you know what I mean? You could even do it tonight, do your laundry. So I'll let you choose, but then you would take these things. Is there any other things you have to do? Any phone calls you have to make? Any,
I'm checking for my phone each day.
Okay, but you still want to capture that. Like you could put something in as like a bullet point somewhere, and it's still you have an idea as to when. See, too often we have a to-do list, Allie, but then until we capture it in time and space, it overwhelms us this big list. But then we know, okay, when is it?
Right,
When
no,
am I?
exactly.
Okay. So check in for the flight. Anything else? Okay. Alright, so as long as you set aside this time here, right, and then when you're there, create your own family vacay, maybe, just decide what you're doing. I mean, if you were to do, from a Cutco standpoint, you leave at 4:30, do you drive yourself or somebody drive you? Okay, so, and you live how far away? Okay, so your first opening, we would tell you to book up at like 5, and we space them out like 90 minutes apart, so we're not like frantically running from one to the next. Sometimes even do 2 hours apart, by the way. Just kinda, so even if you get 3 done here, it's like $sign. I mean, technically, you could even do a 4th, but I'm just kinda giving you an idea. And you don't wanna have white space, so if you are gonna be like hanging with homies, right, you can put chillin', whatever, and then you sleep to a certain time, so it takes you how many minutes, so if you were, I would actually, if you're gonna get the hang of it, you don't have to do this the rest of your life as far as sleep goes, but just so you get the hang of visualizing everything.
No, it's
Tomorrow morning you sleep until, hey, what's up?
I'm good.
Hey, Sharif. I'm just in the middle of a sit down here, so.
Alright. I just want to say hi.
Oh, just say hi?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I made a sale today, so I'm happy.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, very good, dude. I'm glad you let me know that. Are you
Right.
close to that promotion?
Yeah, I'm like $200 short.
Okay, awesome. So you're really
Yeah.
close then, Sharif.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Alright, see you guys later.
Alright, later, Sharif.
Later.
Ooh, a little shy, but nice. Alright, that's good. Yeah, he's telling me it's good. That's cool. He's taking care of the recognition, so I can acknowledge him. He's like, hey, I gotta say, I'm excited.
How many psychology courses did you take in college?
Not too many, but just post-college. I did a lot of like therapy and stuff, yeah.
Cool.
So.
That's what I'm heading towards, being a psychologist.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
No, I'm really interested in what you're telling me. I like what you're telling me because I don't know it before you say it to me, so now I know.
Yeah, these are neat things, yeah, I mean, it's just from me going through it, like me being on the other end of the table, that's how I can then share
I think it really adds to your training. It really makes it really good training.
Thanks, I appreciate that. Alright, so what time do you sleep until to be able to get here by 10 o'clock tomorrow?
I wake up at 8.
Okay, got it, so basically it would be like, sleep, get ready, I mean, if you really wanna practice,
Yeah, no, I understand.
Okay. So then tomorrow night, you're gonna make some phone call, we call it phone time. You're gonna put in dinner though, obviously, right?
Mhm.
Somewhere in like a 30, whatever, and then this is phone time. You only need enough phone time though to be able to fill in these. So tomorrow, you don't make calls yet, because that's why I have nothing written here. But tomorrow in training, you learn how to make calls, you make calls to be able to put in a few appointments here.
Okay.
And you're just working backwards, right? And it's like, I don't know, hang out, watch your favorite TV show. And this covers everything. And you get back on the 10th, and then you leave for school here, so you could even, then you do the same list on the back of this, I would put your to-dos to get ready to go back to school.
Yes.
And kinda like what you did on this one. So if you're wondering what this is called, it's called the OATS technique is what's taught to me. O stands for objectives. A stands for action steps, which is why, like, your objective was to pack. Action steps are listed here. T stands for time, which you saw we did to the right, and then S stands for capturing it in a schedule.
Okay.
Which is, so we did follow through on it, so let's say tonight you do some of your laundry.
And this is helpful because I didn't do this last semester as my first semester in college. I think it could be very useful.
Yeah, moving forward, yeah. So you'll write down like bio, and then you'll list you'll write down bio essay.
Mhm.
A is like, if you want an A, because it's your visual, it's like the outside of a puzzle, you see the box, which excites you about putting the puzzle together.
Yeah.
So you want to capture that view, that vision, and then obviously you would break down just like, instead of packing, it would be the list of like read 2 chapters, review lecture notes, review study guide, estimate
Yeah,
the time.
I would tell myself how to do something, and then like my friends would want to hang out with me, so I wouldn't do it.
Now that's the last ingredient.
Yeah.
So you actually have the plan, you then have to have
Yes.
the integrity.
Yeah, exactly.
Which means honoring your word, following through, and
Mhm.
knowing when to say no, and all that. You know, and if you choose not to, just know there's the consequences and the impact, that's felt.
The people at my school are really understanding because we each have our own like study time, and if we say we can't do anything, our friends respect that, which I really like.
Well, that's healthy. That's
Yeah.
good. You're surrounding yourself with probably the people you want to surround yourself with. I dig it. So, I mean, do you want to do all your laundry tonight? Otherwise, you have to do a late night here.
Yeah, I do it tonight.
So so you need 2 hours. So it's like, I don't know. You decide. What time do you think you'll do laundry?
Well, we're going out to dinner for my sister's birthday. So,
Okay. So what time are you going to dinner?
from 6 probably to 9.
Okay. So 6 to 9 dinner. And then what? And then pack. You can do
Yeah.
laundry afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't mind staying up to like 11.
Oh, I saved until like 3 in the morning.
God, I'm the same.
Yeah.
So, yeah, fair enough. So you could, now worst case if it's off the chart, you
Yeah.
put the bullet point here and you
Mhm.
put laundry. So at least you capture it, that's why sometimes I would do that if I didn't know exactly in the day when I read 3 chapters, I'd at least write 3 chapters.
Where did you learn
Use
this
it.
oats? Like what powder you use?
This I learned after college. Well, put it this way, I had started doing these things on my own, but I never called it oats.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I did this after my first semester of college because we were stressed out. So I said, all right, I got to start to pre-plan things.
Okay.
Before I even got introduced to Cutco. Cutco just allowed me to take it to like the advanced level.
Mhm.
But I did this because I was just bugged out. I was stressed out. I was like, this sucks.
You said you went to Cornell?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So I was just overwhelmed, and I'm like, all right, something's got to give. Let me pre-plan. So I would carry this around with me every week, and I'd photocopy one of these with the classes already in because the classes don't change. Which is funny because very much Google Calendar does that now. You can put repeat on an event.
Google Calendar. What about, do you know the Mac, like do you use the Mac calendar?
iCal, it's all the same thing.
Okay.
iCal, Google Cal, Outlook, it's all, thanks Sarah. It's all just a bunch of calendars that you can use, alright? So you bullet point laundry, and then I assume the packing would be done, you could just put the stuff, whatever, you get the point, so.
Yeah, I can.
So do make sure you transfer it over, develop although this isn't that complex, you wanna develop the muscle. So the way you're doing this is the way you're gonna do your bio exams or whatever moving forward. Alright, so, obviously, so this way, the night that you should put check in for flight. And that would go there,
Another question.
yes,
Do you, I know you said you don't expect any of us.
Okay. These
Sorry.
two, again, let me just stay present,
Oh, yeah,
sorry, put that in there,
Yeah.
and then, yeah, I will, but we'll do it a little bit, yeah.
Is it, well, I know it's a personal, like, is it okay if I don't do it during the semester, the job?
I don't care.
Okay.
It's your choice, well, we're just looking at
Yeah, I know, for the next couple weeks.
what we're doing, our imaginations run crazy.
I would like, I keep repeating myself, but like I would like to do it, but I feel like I want to spend more time focusing, like organizing, like for just doing schoolwork first, and then like if I could try to like put this into like work into my schedule or whatever. But I don't.
Well, it's one approach to take, but
Yeah.
keep in mind
Anyway.
you're not the only human being that does it, we
Yeah.
all do it. You're making decisions to what's possible
Yes.
about it without even looking at the plan. So
Right.
you're deciding, there's a book I'm excited to put together eventually called itises.
Mhm.
So you're doing one or the other itis,
Okay.
that's what I call it. So it's like we make up our mind, it's gotta be one or the other,
Mhm.
or it's gotta be, I gotta prioritize.
Mhm.
And it's just a decision that we're making. It's not real. I've decided it's gotta be one or the other. I've decided I gotta focus on school.
Mhm.
And then now you're also doing what's called see how it goes itis.
Mhm.
Let me see how it goes versus if you pre-plan something, then there's no, see, when we say let's see how it goes, Ally, it means we're not taking responsibility for pre-planning.
Okay.
You know what I mean? We're just kinda like as if the stars need to be aligned and there's like some third power that'll don't get me wrong, if we have like a terminal disease or something, knock on wood, then yeah, there's hope, there's faith, there's prayer, you get it? But when it comes to like 24 hours a day, 160 hours a week, either you study or you don't, you know, either you choose to or you choose not to. There's always choice, but don't have it be like, let's just see how it goes, because then what you're basically saying is, I'm not sure if I'm gonna even follow through on my study plan. Now, once you actually put pen to paper and you map it all out, and you're like, well, I've already have all my hours divvied up to other stuff,
Then I can decide.
then you know you just are not jumping over it,
Okay.
because you're like, I've already decided. But if it's because you're worried about running out of time or worried you can't handle it, I'd say have a breakthrough in time management like this.
So if I were to do the cardiac semester, how many hours a day would you suggest?
It's totally up to you.
Yeah.
It's you. You know what I mean? I personally only did very few while at Cornell, but there's other people now. I teach people. See, I don't have a bias. So I'll ask somebody, what do you want? See, I believe anything's I'm all about possibility. I'm all about anything's possible, and then let's come up with a plan. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Anything's possible. Let's just let the chairs be. Oh, you're moving them for. We always leave the white ones. I usually use 2 long rows, Sarah.
Should we just leave it for now?
Yeah, that's what we always do. You can just leave the chairs. I can do them in a little bit. So,
Okay.
I always leave, like-
Vacuum it all,
can you vacuum the other rooms first, and we'll just so I can finish
or-
this.
Okay, there's only a couple people, so you could probably run it in the other room.
It's a possibility. Can I just focus on this though? I know I'd asked you to do this back room. No, you don't have to apologize. It's all good, alright? There's nothing wrong here. Okay, if you could just get those other 2 rooms ready to go, I can put closure, you know,
Okay.
in this PC, and then we'll get this room booked out. This is good.
Okay.
Yeah, it shouldn't take me too long to do the chair, so. Alright, so let's,
Am I interrupting your pre-scheduled plan that you're doing?
no, if you were, I would tell you.
Okay.
Too often, see, that's our caretaking, right? It's like you're worrying about versus letting me let you know. That's why you ever notice how like, oh, I say yes to everybody all the time, and then we get pissed at them for asking, but really it's us who has to say yes to begin with, so it's our responsibility. I've done that before, right? People are like, and then you get in passive aggressively, and you're on, you're like,
No.
don't they know? It's like, no, I'm not saying right now, I'm saying in general, right? It's like, I don't know, I'm projecting onto you, whatever. The point is, sometimes people would ask me to do things, and I would be like, I say yes to everybody, and I almost get annoyed at them for it. Don't they know I say yes no matter what? They shouldn't have asked me. You know, versus, it's not their responsibility, they just make requests, it's up to me, I'm a mature adult, you know, I'll let them know either way.
Mhm.
Any other questions pertaining to this?
Nope.
Any
Thank
other
you.
questions?
So I think I'm gonna do this for my semester because I'm just gonna try. I'll try it out.
Do
And
you have your
see.
car at school, or no?
No, I
So
don't.
then you'd have to have that as part of the plan,
Yeah.
to come up with a strategy. Listen, anything's possible as long as you have a plan. Step 1, why don't you just focus on the next, get through this plan, and then you can then decide.
Okay.
It's up to you when you choose to decide. Ultimately, when you make up your mind about something, you're an intelligent person, obviously you're a go-getter. What's exciting about you is you're so coachable. Like you'll be honest, hey, here's what I made up my mind, but then what's your advice?
Mhm.
Most people would say, I made up my mind, that's it. That's the reason why I'm actually taking the time to go through with you, because I know that you are open to. I'm the type of guy, I used to, once I make up my mind, that's it. But now it's like, well, that limits me. Because when I first made up my mind, it's possible I didn't have all the information.
I'm always open to new ideas.
Yeah, and it sounds like you know that if you don't have all the information yet, you know, it's like now that you put it that way, Joe, I'm open to blah, blah, blah. Most human beings don't operate that way, right? They're like, I've already decided. And stubbornness, you know, all that stuff, but it just doesn't, you know, whatever. I'm open to, I'll change my mind a million times a day as long as, not if I give my word to being somewhere, that's a different conversation, right? Like if you say I'll be somewhere on time, and that's an integrity issue, but if I'm debating whether to partake in a certain project or not, and I decide to be a no, but then somebody brings information to my attention, and they put a different spin on it, where I'm like, oh, okay, then I'll be like, oh, I changed my mind, I'll do it. So you get, so I'm acknowledging you for being that person that's willing
Thank
to
you.
hear any information. You're welcome. Alright, so anything else?
Nope.
Okay, so bring these back tomorrow with you, because inevitably you'll give me yellow copies of them, so that way I can be on the same page and hold you accountable.
Is there any way I can
talk to
type
you.
mine up and give it to you?
You can do whatever the heck you want.
Okay.
I mean, I would say,
I like typing.
well, yeah, I get you made up your mind about that.
Okay. No.
No, okay, so
I can do
listen.
that if you.
Don't let that drive you batty. Listen, you decide how you operate. I'm all about if you don't need to add extra time to your plate, then why bother?
Okay.
Too often we decide that it has to look pretty,
Yeah.
but all it does is make things longer. You could just give me a yellow copy, be done with it, and use these white copies.
Okay.
Or you could type it up, which would just add extra time to your life. And
I like typing because it seems more organized, and sometimes just look at that and I'm like,
So you could decide this is organized. Organized is in the eye of the beholder.
Yes.
So actually, I'm gonna tell you not to type it up. This could be a
Okay.
good opportunity for you to, because consider this, you'll get more done in life if you're not looking for everything to be perfect.
Right.
Okay, so this could be a good opportunity for you to be okay with my chicken scratch and paper but inevitably when you are ready to go over to like electronic, I wouldn't type anything up because I'm almost envisioning like an Excel spreadsheet. You should use one of the calendars
Yeah,
that
that's what I
already
was
exists.
thinking.
Well, then that's fine. Yeah, get going with that. That's fine. That's awesome because Google Calendar is all. I like Google Calendar because it syncs with everything else and it's easy to do on my phone. Some people like iCal. I don't know how to sync. Well, I obviously have my iPhone, so I could sync it. Depends on what technology you're using.
I have an iPhone and a MacBook too.
So then you might want to do iCal. I personally, if I don't have my laptop with me and I don't have my iPhone with me, at least if I use Google Calendar, I can access that from any computer.
Okay.
I think if you are going to use iCal, ultimately, I think you're going to need to have either
Yeah.
your personal laptop or your iPhone with you. So I think Google Calendar, for me at least, I like it because I can access it from anywhere with my stuff.
Alright.
Okay, great. Good
Thank
job.
you.
First lesson in time management.
Thank you.
All right.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Alright, Ally. See you
Bye.
later. Ciao.
Thank you again.
No problem, you're welcome.